hold up before you click off. I'm not here to convince you to buy this apparatus. This is not your typical VR review type video. It really isn't. This I would characterize as being more as a review about what really surprised me about using this. And it has nothing to do with actually gaming. Can you imagine? Yeah, so a few surprising things about using this, about how it has positively affected my life. We will go through all of that through this video. So hang tight. Why did I get this? Well, it was a few years ago. It was around Christmas. And as we do, we're always contemplating what are we going to get for the family and or just in gifts in general. But what we decided is instead of getting all the individual gifts, we would just get one or two family gifts. And it turned out to be two. So we kind of got girls, boys. You know, I have to admit that originally when we did this, I thought that this was going to be more for the kids. And we did use it quite a bit initially over the holidays and had a lot of fun. But over the years, it has surprised me. In a society where they say we've never been more connected as far as cell phones and gaming and things like that, there's an epidemic of loneliness. And I think it almost gets progressively worse as we age. We go through all of these life changes with empty nesting, retirement, and then sometimes sickness. I have to say, I think this is more of a tool than I ever gave it credit for. And it's only in my discovery of using it that I found out how much fun I could have with it and the different types of games and experiences on this, how I could become more connected with friends, whether they lived a far way away from me or even just across the city. And I've used it in all those different ways, and I'm happy that I get to show you how I and what I enjoy about virtual reality. What I love about virtual reality are some of the apps that I would recommend. And you'll notice that some of these are not about gaming, they're about experiencing. One of the things that I really enjoy is meditating with my Oculus. There are some apps that you can use, some are, they have a subscription associated with them, but I go into the YouTube app. So there are apps that you can download, and you go into a section of YouTube, and there are some virtual VR channels dedicated 360 experiences. Meditation is one of the things that you don't necessarily even have to go into a VR channel. You can just go to theta type of music where you can easily meditate to it. I guess once you put on the Oculus, it's just a natural focus. There's a centering that happens because you're inside of this. It actually really does kickstart and assist you if you ever have trouble with meditating. This might be the ticket. The other thing, while I'm on the subject of YouTube, some of the channels, the YouTube VR dedicated channels that people put out, they have a 360 camera walking through cities or beaches or just beautiful locations. You know, this is one of the highlights about VR that was very unexpected, is the change of mental state that you can get into. I live on the West Coast, the wet coast, and we often have dark, dreary days in our winter. And some people suffer from seasonal disorder. I will say, when you put this on, and this is not professional advice, but I don't know too many people that sit beside a beach that don't feel good about it. And so I've often thought about people with seasonal disorder putting this on and feeling and experiencing being somewhere else, and the positive endorphins feeling that I get off of it has to affect others in that same way. In fact, I have heard that the goggles are used in various armed forces for PTSD, and that they assist with changing mental state. Just in the simple fact that there are scary games where it looks like you're going to fall off a cliff, and some people love being put to the test of actually fear. You have that fear even though you know you're in the middle of your TV room. You look down in this and you have the same fear. Just as you experience fear and excitement from this, you can equally feel happy and feel the sun. Even though you're not in the sun, walking down the street in Madrid or Barcelona, you feel those endorphins. All that to say is I love that side of it. There was also a flyover app. So you feel like it's what it's like to parachute or base jump. I think it's Red Bull that has these. I love it. The excitement of doing something like that it's not a fear of mine. That was surprising how much I actually enjoyed this. I also really loved, and this is kind of going off of from my other video, I watched, I believe it was Prada, had their fashion show on VR. So the models were walking up to me. It was kind of freaky in a way. They were walking right up to me with Prada's, I don't know, fall winter lineup. And then I would turn to my right and another model would be coming right up to me. I could see the stitching of those clothes when the model turned right at me. It was crazy because they look in your eyes. It was wild. Another app that I love is called Puzzling Places. And this is a puzzle app. There are several puzzles that you can select 25 piece, 50 piece, 100, 200 pieces. It is so fun to either do on your own or with a friend. You create a room, your friend comes into the room, you put a puzzle together. I have to say, this has become one of my most favorite things to do. My friend Michelle and I, we often will meet, and my husband and I have done this just on like a Friday night. These are 3D puzzles, and when they click together, there's animation. Either the cat starts meowing that's standing on the cobblestone, or a woman comes out of the balcony and she's looking around, and at each piece that you do, the puzzle becomes more and more alive and dimensional. And I have to say, last night it was pretty funny because I was putting together a puzzle that had kittens on it. It was a French house that had cats. And as I was doing it, this is where you don't have to be active. You can actually stay stationary and sit down. My cat came and sat on. So no, not only was it it was actually reality and virtual reality. It was pretty funny. My friend and I, we chatted, we caught up after work. It was a lot of fun, and we're doing that more often. Puzzling Places is a really cool. There's this puzzle called Queen of the Damned, and it is a dance hall with a bunch of well-known horror characters. Pennywise, Zombie, Bride of Frankenstein. There's a whole bunch of Chucky, I think, is there. There is a band and a bandstand, and you put it together and they start dancing. And you literally can pick up the puzzle. And it seems like if in my reality, the puzzle is about 4 feet by 2 feet height, and you can actually take the puzzle. And I was doing someone, and we were taking turns actually looking at it. Once we had completed it, you can spin it around. You can see the outside of the hall. You can put your head right in and watch these characters dance and interact. It is like, it's even hard to explain, and you just have to experience it. Whoever thought of this, brilliant, brilliant. Like it is. And I was never really a puzzle person till really probably 2019. And then certainly COVID, I think, made all of us puzzle people. But this three-dimensional puzzle, animated, so good and so fun to just sit down and catch up with people. Chef's kiss to that app. That is amazing. Another app that I really enjoy is called Walkabout Mini Golf, and this one is incredible. You go hole to hole, you have this in this hand, and you can actually drop one of your controllers. It probably took us about 3 times to get really comfortable at all of the controlling. I think there's a small learning curve to the controller in each game, and you figure out, oh, I pick up things by doing this and that, trial and error. And now, like I said, maybe 3 or 4 times, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. There's lots of different courses, and there's all kinds of the creativity again, the visuals are a lot of fun. And I mean, I swear like a trucker when I play, because it can be as frustrating as real golf. I accidentally somehow always hit the ball, even though I don't mean to, as I'm setting up. But listen, even that I guess is a learning curve. I've learned my lesson quite a few times now. Esports tennis. Listen, I love tennis. I play tennis in real life. This is another one that I often play with a friend that lives on the prairies. Like, she lives in Calgary, I live in Vancouver, and we meet and play tennis. The tennis, because they don't want us running around and falling into the walls, it's a more condensed version of tennis. There is a workout component in it. It is a lot of fun, and I'll insert the footage as well. There's a pickleball. I love them all. There is even a ping pong. I think it's called 11. I really like the ping pong app as well. Ping pong is naturally a condensed type of activity, so it's quite fun to play. Although you can play solo these games, I just find it a lot more fun to meet people in these spaces. The other experiences that I really love is the International Space Station has an app.
I'd like your go throughout the node 3 camcorder into downlink 2 and start video recording. And we will verify your 2 parameters.
Station Houston is handing over. We'll be back with you in a minute.
Copy your nod, and we will begin.
I've always been really interested in space and the solar system and the stars and the moon. And so this one was just natural. I yearned to even I will even listen to what space sounds like. And I love any kind of app or experience where I get to go and do. And there are, like the International Space Station, seeing the view of the Earth. I just love it. As far as flying goes, there are apps, there are videos where you get a chance to fly over certain cities. And I just love that because, you know, ever since the Flying Nun, I thought my superpower of choice is to fly. And so this was like iconic when I put on the headset and got to experience what actually flying felt like. And you do actually feel like you're flying over New York City. I loved it. I loved it. The other app that I really enjoy is Beat Saber. So Beat Saber is a lot of fun. It is where you've got these as almost like lightsabers, and you're smashing and you're cutting open the boxes to music. So they come flying at you, and there is an arrow that you can see on the boxes, and that is the way you're to slice the box with your saber, is either up, down and up, sideways, diagonal. There is an opportunity for them to make more money if you pay extra to get certain soundtracks, which I can imagine would be a lot of fun. But there is a really good example of an app that allows you to have a lot of fun with their app without paying an additional. We actually bought it for $25. I may buy extra songs if there was a an artist that I really, really loved. For now, I use what's come with it. And that one, I really enjoy playing with other people as well. It's quite challenging. So there are a few things I want to talk to you about. You buy the games, what happens? You put the initial investment in this, and I think now they're priced at, 400, this is in Canadian dollars, to 700. I think it's how much space that you get and things like that. And you do get some free things with it. Like I said, YouTube and VR channels. We did buy some games initially, and they range from $20 to $40. And then you have them and they load in your headset and you have them forever. What we've recently subscribed to is Meta Horizon. And through advice from a friend who had also done this and investigated it, you get the opportunity to download every month. It's about $10 a month. You get the opportunity to download games, and then you have them on your headset, and then you can play them for as long as you are a subscriber. I think this is a lot better because there are some games that we bought initially that I don't play anymore. So this is almost it's a way that if we ever stop subscribing to a Meta Horizon, that maybe there are some games like Puzzling Places that I would actually buy and keep, and because if the novelty does not wear off, then great. But I purchased the Meta Horizon subscription for a year, so we'll see. But so far I really like it because every month we download like 3 games and we play them and play them, and then we see how we like them. In fact, yesterday, because it's a new month and it's March, I downloaded Golf Plus. So I'm excited to try that out today because they have the top, what did they say? The top 25 courses in the world are loaded in, emulated. They've copied the actual golf course. So you get to experience this. So that might be kind of fun. Okay, the reality of what I don't like. There are some apps that tantalize you to join, to download, and that there's this opportunity. Like there is one meditation app that I won't mention the name. I was excited to try it. There was a yoga one as well, but guess what? There was like one little intro that you got for free. But in order for you to actually continue to use the app, you have to pay a monthly subscription to the app, which I just don't like that. I think at least you can give some free, even if it's with ads. Like, don't make me pay for a subscription because I'm probably not going to. That's what I have to say. I don't like that. So that has happened to me more than 3 times that I've downloaded. I've waited the time it's downloaded. I don't even know it's taking up space on here. I should look into that. So that I don't like. The queasiness, it's a real thing. You do have to kind of get used to it. So, I've had to gradually increase my. And listen, there are some games that are way worse. Any kind of the not the flying over experiences, those you kind of just are flying, and those kind of do make you a little bit queasy. Any of the ones where you're in a plane, like there's these fun little fighting planes that you fly and you take off, those really make you, for me, and I think because when you age you start losing water in your ears, so I can only play those games for a little bit. But most of my experiences have been pretty good. The heat mat paired with the queasiness, yes, you kind of do get a hot head. Do I want to spend 3 hours? I don't want to spend 3 hours doing anything. I enjoy an hour. I played my puzzle game with my friend. In fact, it was funny. After we played our puzzle, did put together our 200-piece puzzle, we just sat and talked through this, and we just sat, and our puzzle was sitting beside us, and we caught up for another 20 minutes or so. I still enjoy a good half an hour to an hour of play, and that's really all I can afford during a day to give to something like this anyway. Believe me, there's a bunch of stuff that I could be doing. Girls got to have a break sometimes. So in a world where we have the opportunity to be so connected, yet we are so disconnected, here is a tool where not only can we actually use technology to truly connect us, to make us feel better, to enlighten us, to educate us. There are so many opportunities within this tool that you could do all that. And I don't know of any gaming tool prior to the VR that you can say the same. There's so much diversity in this tool where I was really surprised. I have to admit, I was really surprised. I thought it was just going to be like our Wii or PlayStation, but it has expanded my life. It is strengthening my friendships. I'm surprised that I like it this much, and I think you will too. So now I'm curious, how many of you have one? How many of you might consider getting one? Tell me about your experience with VR if you have one. I'm curious. And if you have a good game that I should try out, as I said at the top of the video, I'm not a gamer, but this surprised me because it's not just about gaming, it's about experiencing, it's about curiosity, it's about changing your mental state, feeling good. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not a typical technology review person, although I do have some. I've got my Ray-Ban Meta glasses. A perspective from someone my age is a good perspective. It's opening up a market where potentially this wasn't the key marketplace for something like this is above 40, above 50. But I'm telling you, midlifers, it's a lot of fun. Share your experiences with me below. I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much.
Welcome to Antarctica, the coldest, most desolate, and most mysterious continent on the planet. This is the place where the Earth meets eternal ice and the strongest winds.